0864. Stations your final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
Oregon is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
Welcome to Duck Insider.
Man, it feels great to be a Duck.
Give it to me, baby. My house. I'm taking it there.
Their competitors, they'll want to put the O on.
Three, got it!
We're going to compete to a standard every day.
The Oregon standard.
Rebound. It's been in. 1 point more to go.
The opportunity to play, put Oregon on your chest, should mean a great deal to you.
Unloads on one into left field. Back toward the wall. Gone!
This program is staged to compete and to win championships.
Oregon wins!
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, let's talk Oregon athletics.
It is the start of what is going to be an incredible weekend of Oregon athletics. Welcome inside to Duck Insider. Jordan Brenner joined by Jerry Allen for a little while. Yes. Jerry, thanks for being here. Huge weekend, obviously, leading up to Saturday's 12:30 kickoff with UCLA. But how about Oregon soccer hosting number 7 Stanford tonight at 7 o'clock at PxP?
It's a big week.
It's an opportunity for a lot of programs who are highly regarded this week to take that next step and to elevate to that next level. Oregon soccer tonight's an example of that.
No, and give football credit for making this a bigger stage this week for each of the sports. Volleyball, soccer, softball's playing. Football gives them a bigger stage because there'll be more eyes looking at and talking about what's going on at the University of Oregon, not just in football.
Well, the way it should work, I think it's going to work, is, people making it a long weekend, getting to the game tonight, volleyball tomorrow, and then, of course, staying for Saturday. And the big game there. Jerry, I want to pick your brain about this matchup Saturday.
Yes.
12:30 kick. Game day's in town. We got the celebrity picker officially announced as Sabrina Ionescu, which is pretty cool to see. I think fans would have been upset if it was anybody but Sabrina. But let's start with Sabrina. Pretty cool that she's going to be on that show, and I don't think there's any doubt in my mind who she's going to pick in that final game.
No, I love listening to her talk, too. She's very personable, and she's not afraid to say what's on her mind, and she has a lot to say, and she's very knowledgeable in sport, not just in basketball. So I think she's going to represent the University of Oregon extremely well on game day.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I remember talking with Terry about this. Used to interview Sabrina all the time, and he's always said, hey, she's not only one of the best players, one of the best interviews as well. That's going to be fun. So Saturday, I want to touch on weather, which could be a factor, even though it never rains in Autzen Stadium.
Right.
It could be wet on Saturday between two teams that really haven't practiced in the rain at all this year. Do you think that gives it a team an advantage either way, the Ducks or the Bruins, if we play a wet football game on Saturday?
I think if it was pouring down rain, coming down cats and dogs and, all kinds of animals, just soaking rain, I think it impacts the game because it minimizes what you can do just because of the slipperiness, the ball, the field. But I don't think we're going to do that kind of rain. I think it's going to be a little bit damp, wet maybe. Both teams have practiced with wet balls this week, so I don't think it's going to impact either one. It'll be equal one way or the other. No, I don't think either team has a speed advantage over the other one. That's usually when you have a game that is wet, when you lose that speed advantage, guys trying to get outside, slipping and sliding. I don't think that'll happen.
I've heard a lot about speed. Both teams have it.
Yes.
They always do. It's funny. You think of Oregon, you think of speed. You think of Chip Kelly, you think of speed. But for me, both of these clubs offensively are more defined by their physicality. Charbonnet, Bobo for the Bruins, they're huge. Not to mention some of those big receivers in Franklin and Coda and the entire run game, the tight ends for the Ducks. Physicality feels to me like it defines this matchup even more than speed. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the front seven of each team is going to be very defining in this game. Oregon's front seven has got to help their back end. If they can hold that Charbonneau run game and put a little pressure on DTR, you got to protect the edge, be very, very disciplined. But if Oregon's front seven can do that, that'll help the back end. I think Oregon's got a good advantage there. Likewise for UCLA, their front seven, they're going to play 4 down with 3 linebackers. Their 2 edge guys are very good.
Very good.
And so they're going to do the same thing. They're going to try to hold with the front seven and give their back end some help. So this is a real chess match. This should be a very good ball game.
Yeah, and all good ball games are defined by the stars, and both teams have those stars, especially at the quarterback position. It's funny, you think about Bo Nix and DTR, these guys have been around forever, as experienced as any quarterbacks in the country. And just probably this year, people start putting them at the top of the list when it comes to quarterback play. Do you think it's fair to say that the winner of this game, should the quarterback perform well, I think the winning quarterback will perform well, maybe becomes a dark horse Heisman contender as the season progresses?
Well, the way they're both playing, I would agree. I think both of them have gone through some turmoil. Bo Nix at Auburn, fans weren't real happy with him. Although he wasn't terrible at Auburn, they wanted more. They wanted something more. They wanted to win national championship, and he wasn't going to get them there, and they didn't think he could. But he's elevated his game now, and all of a sudden we're seeing a Bo Nix that is special. Same thing with DTR. The last few years at UCLA, in fact, Chip's first year, we weren't sure he was going to get the starting role and stay in that role, but Chip's kind of helped develop him, and all of a sudden we're seeing the best of DTR. So they both have kind of taken the same path to get where they are.
Yeah, Bo Nix going to lead the Ducks out on Saturday, 12:30 kickoff. What are some of the keys? I want to leave you with this. Keys for a win on Saturday and what could be Oregon's biggest test since week 1.
Yeah, I think my key is going to be take care of the football. All right, turnovers, mistakes. Don't beat yourself. I think this Oregon team is good enough offensively against anybody they face. If they don't turn the ball over, lay it on the carpet, take away an opportunity to score, they're going to have some explosion plays, and they will score. Give it away. Your opponent this week is too good to give them extra opportunities. So I'm going to say miscues. Don't beat yourself, and you'll be fine in this game.
Bo Nix talked with the media this week. Let's hear what the quarterback's keys for a win Saturday are. Bo Nix talking with the media.
I feel like you got a lot better on that.
Yeah, I did. It's just one of those things you got to be conscious about while you're doing it. And you don't want to play you don't want to think while you play a whole lot, but in a bye week it's good because you don't have to worry about scheme and all that kind of stuff. You can really hone in on the detail.
Did you watch football on Saturday?
I did. I watched a lot of it.
Which one did you watch?
Watched Alabama, Tennessee. Watched a few that night. Obviously, because the Tennessee game was a prime time on the bulk of the Saturday, so there were some good games on.
I've kind of been asking everybody, but I'm curious, especially being a quarterback, how do you watch games that you're not on? Are you very analytical in your approach?
No, I just watch, see where the ball goes, what kind of play. Because see, the TV copy, you don't really get to see the all 22 players, so sometimes it's just easier to see the play, and then every once in a while you'll get a good look at the top view and you'll see what the defense is doing. But at that point, I'm just a fan again and getting to watch it and enjoying the game.
You kind of grew up at a time when Chip Kelly was in his heyday with Oregon. What kind of spot does he have in your mind, I mean, as an Oregon fan or not, that his offense and how dynamic that was?
Yeah, well, he's, like you said, he's the one that I remember that kind of started it all, the spread offenses, the run attack, the no huddle, the tempo stuff. He was really good at it back in the day. And then obviously when in the South, I knew it because they played in the national championship against Auburn. So seen what he does many times. I've seen him, all the running backs and quarterbacks and stuff that he coached. He had great success here.
I know you haven't played many games in Autzen, but what does it mean to you to be playing this big matchup? I mean, you guys played BYU, handled them well, and have handled every other opponent in Autzen very well. Does that give you any confidence going into this weekend?
Yeah, it does. I feel like we have great home field advantage. Autzon's a great place to play. Really fun to play in. But I think the main thing is just keeping it consistent, making sure that we take this as just the next game on our schedule, and it's important for us to go out there and play a complete game so that we can continue to build on this season.
Do you think there's value in your experience in particular in terms of playing in top 10 games, all the stuff that goes on game day and all the things that a lot of guys here just haven't necessarily been through?
No, I think there's huge value just because you kind of know what to expect and you know what things could be different. The environment's going to be loud and all that kind of stuff, but at the end of the day, it goes back to just being football and being yourself and knowing your teammates and going out there and executing the play.
I remember the last time last time that you played in particularly heavy rain or decent rain like Saturday?
I think you'd have to go back to my sophomore year, Arkansas, and my freshman year, Sanford Ford. So I played in a couple, not many, but we're hoping the rain stays off.
I'm sure you've seen the uniforms this week. I'm just curious to hear your thoughts on this.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to Oregon being Oregon. Nike being who they are, and Oregon being one of those main brands that gets to kind of advertise for it. And so I think it's going to be great. And obviously, breast cancer awareness is a really important thing for a lot of people. It's important for me. I've had several, family friends that have gone through that, and so I understand what it means. And it's just really important that you bring awareness to that and show honor to those people that have been through that.
You mentioned pace and tempo, talking about Chip and his offenses. You guys go back to way back in the winter when Kenny was talking about being up pace, pro style plays fast, 80 plays per game. Other than in the blowouts where you guys taking it a little bit easier, it could be close to 80 plays a game. Yeah. You're averaging 7 yards a play, and one of about 12, 15 teams doing that. How much do you appreciate, take pride in, whatever, that you're one of the more, not just explosive offenses, but yes, you're doing it at that.
Yeah, we take pride in the tempo. We take pride in going fast. And once we start drives and get the first down, we can really get into some tempo. And we do, Coach Dillingham does a great job of fitting the scheme of allowing tempo to be a good tool for the offense. And, we'll go fast and then we'll slow it down. We'll go fast again, slow it down. We'll run a lot of plays at a good tempo, but then again, we'll huddle and then have a different kind of tempo that defenses have to counter.
What makes Latu, what makes him unique as a defender that you have to pay attention to?
I think just when you look at a guy like that, their coaches do a great job of kind of building the system around them and allowing them to play good football, to play what they're good at.
They seem to move him in a lot of different spots. It's not just purely on the edge. Is there a defender back from the SEC in particular you might compare him to by that? But in terms of multiplicity, I'm not talking about skill set, more like he could literally be almost anywhere.
Well, you know what? I think if you look at our defense, Noah moves around quite a bit. He gets in a third down package, can rush, play linebacker. So with a guy like that, that's kind of multiple and you can use on a third down situation. It's good for defenses to utilize and use because it can kind of be tricky for an offense, and you got to get your eyes up, make sure you know where they are.
We've talked a lot about ignoring downside defense this year. College game it seems from my perspective there's a lot of that this week. How are you guys kind of approaching that?
Yeah, I mean, just taking it like any other game and want to focus on ourselves and competing against ourselves throughout the week. And then we know we have a good opponent coming in, so we just got to play sharp football and just execute and be very efficient.
What does your guys' day look like on a 12:30 kickoff? You guys gonna be able to catch any of that show on campus at all? Or?
Probably not. I think that obviously based off what we've done in the past 12:30 games, it was kind of rise and shine, get some to eat and get some food in you and get over here and get ready for the game. So not a lot of downtime to where you can watch, but that's the great thing about YouTube and recording and all that kind of stuff nowadays, where you can go back and watch it later.
How does UCLA playing a zone defense, I'm sorry if you guys have been asked this before, but how does UCLA playing a significant zone defense kind of affect your decision-making process in this game?
Well, they do a good job of taking away the big explosive play. They kind of make it known with their defense that they don't want to give up the big play, and so they'll play super kind of soft in coverage, making you throw the underneath stuff, and then they'll rally and make group tackles. So knowing that, it's just being efficient underneath, catch it, getting vertical, and going to get anything you can just on those simple routes, and then hopefully the explosive ones will come.
How often have you talked to Chase Coda this week about this matchup?
Just a few. Obviously, he's gone against those DBs quite a few times, so just get his thoughts on those guys. I mean, he's like me, a transfer, so he's very familiar with that team. But at the same time, if you look at the roster, they have quite a few transfers. So a few guys that he doesn't necessarily know, and so it's just taking it like any other team and just scouting them and seeing what they put on video and going from there.
Bo Nix talking about Chase Coda there at the end. I think that's a combo we could see connect quite a few times at Autzen this Saturday.
Yeah, you hope you would. I mean,
yeah.
It's a great story. His father played at Oregon, was a big star here, played in the NFL, and instead of ending up at Oregon, he chose UCLA. And, we're like, gosh, wish we could have had him. And all of a sudden now we do, but now we're playing against UCLA. And sometimes I think, Jordan, that we make too much of a player coming back to Oregon from, like in this case, UCLA, and focusing on that and thinking that Oregon's going to learn something from Chase Coda that's going to win them the game.
Right.
Those kind of things don't happen. They really don't.
We're certainly rooting for the storyline, though. It would be great for him to have a big game. But to that point, you look at the box score between these teams, even just last year, and on both sides, there are a lot of different names. Really, the one returning name is Dorian Thompson-Robinson, and I guess Zach Charbonnet, the running back for UCLA. But that's kind of college football now. These are two new teams, and
they really are. Yeah,
they've proven themselves this year. Going to be a fun one. Can't wait to listen to you on Saturday.
I'm looking forward to this. This is one of the highlight games of the year, and it's the biggest game of the year this week. All right, this week, and then next week could be the biggest game, and that's where you got to go. You can't look too far ahead. Well, wait a minute, we're fans. We can look as far ahead as we want to. No. I'm looking ahead at 2026 right now.
That's right. That's right. Jerry Allen, voice of the Ducks. Jerry, thanks for being here.
It's fun. Thanks. Go Ducks. Let's
go.
I'm pumped. I'm sorry.
Jerry looks a little bit jacked. He's ready for
I am. I'm ready for this.
Let's get a break. We'll come back. Josh Lewin, the play-by-play voice of the Bruins, joined us earlier today. We'll play that interview after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimate CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimate CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
Unused prescription opioid pain medicines can spell trouble. They can spell risk if taken by someone they weren't prescribed for, harm if accidentally taken by a child or pet, or overdose if they're not used as directed. Safely dispose of opioids before they can hurt your family. Find a drug take-back option such as medicine drop boxes. You may find these in your community at local pharmacies or police stations. Visit www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
Are you thinking about buying medicine online? A search for online pharmacies yields more than 20 million results. But which ones can you trust? Medicines bought from unlicensed online pharmacies can be dangerous. You may get a fake drug, your condition may get worse, or you may experience a bad reaction. Don't put your health at risk. To learn how to find an online pharmacy that's safe and legal, visit fda.gov/BeSafeRx. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Welcome inside the Country Financial Studio. Duck Insider brought to you by On Point Community Credit Union. Was joined earlier today by Josh Lewin, the play-by-play voice of the Bruins. He's called Final Fours. He's called upsets against USC. But I asked him this. This one is up there with the rest. A big game day with the Ducks this weekend. Here's Josh Lewin of the Bruins Sports Network. Lucky to be joined by the play-by-play voice of the UCLA Bruins, Josh Lewin, joining us here on Duck Insider. Got him for a few minutes, nice enough to take some time out of his day. Got a big top 10 matchup coming at Autzen Stadium. You've called some big games here in the last few years, right? Wins versus USC, a Final Four. I imagine that this one is up there on that list in terms of build-up to the actual ball game. Am I right about that?
Oh, for sure. I mean, a 9 versus 10, we don't see that very often, whether it's us or you or clanging together. So the fact that it's Chip and the fact that it's 2 great quarterbacks and 2 great run games and there's all this whoop-de-doo about it, it's going to be a really good time.
So I want to get into the nitty-gritty of this contest, and I think where we have to start is the quarterback play. It feels like Dorian Thompson-Robinson, Bo Nix, these are guys who have been a part of our lives for a while now, right? 2 of the more experienced quarterbacks in college football. But just now, this year, maybe last year as well for DTR, clicking at a high level. I want to go into the story of DTR because you've kind of seen that progression for him. What's gone into him becoming one of the most dynamic players in college football? What's that journey been like to follow?
Well, you got to remember, he only played quarterback for 10 games in high school, so this is all pretty new to him. And the fact that he's now been with Chip Kelly for 5 years, Chip's never had a quarterback for 5 years. Chip's never been in one place for 5 years. So DTR has matured. He and Chip are, they're not exactly chips off the old block, so to speak, but they have great football minds together. I think they complement each other well. And, I think Dorian's in a position this year where he's not trying to do too much. He's not playing hero ball. He's making safe plays. A lot of the passes, just like Bo, are screen passes and little 5-yard hitches and things like that. So it's, 2 guys throwing it at 75% completion ratios and not turning the ball over. Dorian used to be a turnover machine. That's just not the case anymore.
So it feels like it's just hard to ignore. Autzen Stadium's going to be a factor on Saturday. Which team deals with the presence of those fans a little bit better? Obviously going to be a little bit tougher for UCLA when they're on the offensive side of the ball. But what's been the message from the coaching staff? What's the view of Autzen Stadium as a venue for a UCLA team that, has been on the road, but I don't think they've been tested in a venue this season quite like this one.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And, Autzen's an amazing place to play. Chip knows that better than anybody. It's a great home field advantage. But this is a veteran group. This is not the baby Bruins anymore. It's a lot of transfers, a lot of them from places like the Big Ten. You got a left tackle in Raekwon O'Neal who would go on the road with Rutgers and play at the Big House and at the Horseshoe. And, these are all great places to play too, where they make a lot of noise. So pretty seasoned group, and it'll be a challenge, but I think they're ready for it.
I think a lot of fans associate Chip Kelly with speed, and rightfully so, but I think that does a disservice for this year's Bruins when you have guys like Charbonnet and Bobo as well. These are big physical players. Is that a part of the identity of this UCLA offense this year, just the physicality of some of those skill positions?
Yeah, I think so. And again, the experience part is a factor. You mentioned Bobo. Everybody talked so nicely about him at Duke, and he put up okay numbers. He had 3 touchdowns in 4 years. He's had 4 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks now. So he's that red zone target that I guess Greg Dulcich was for DTR the last couple of years. He can go in the slot like Kyle Phillips used to. And, Charbonnet is a power back who also has some wiggle. He's really got it all. And, you mentioned it. You got 2 quarterbacks who can run it and throw it. You got 2 great run games here, 2 great run defenses here. So it's a very even matchup.
Yeah, lucky to be joined by Josh Lewin, play-by-play voice of the UCLA Bruins. You mentioned Bobo, a transfer into this program. The transfer portal's been a huge help for UCLA, especially on defense. Leatu Latu goes from a player at Washington who doesn't know if he's ever going to play it down again with a neck injury. Now he's leading the nation in sacks per game. A great story. Can you describe his impact defensively for the Bruins this year?
Yeah, he wasn't medically cleared at Washington, and he couldn't really figure out why. He was playing rugby the whole time that they told him he couldn't play football. So he always thought that was pretty weird. But he's been terrific over here, a guy with long arms and a big motor. And the Murphy twins have come in from the University of North Texas. They've been really good, both at getting to the passer and stopping the run. It's a good defense. I mean, the numbers don't really say it. They've given up some garbage time touchdowns to Utah and Washington that makes it look like every game's a shootout. But for the most part, they've been keeping teams in the 20s, and that's really progress compared to what it's been like around here.
I'll leave you with this one. What's going to decide this matchup on Saturday?
Well, you know, it's cliche to say turnovers, but Oregon is, 19-0 the last 19 times they win the turnover battle, and UCLA doesn't have quite that, but it's close. Third down is always the thing. You know, the Bruins are one of the best third down conversion teams in the country. If they can stay on the field, that'll really help. But, you know, Oregon's just so tough. I mean, and you guys are rolling right now, 50 points a game in your last 5 games. And, you know, if the Bruins hold them to 38 or 41 or something like that, I think they got a shot. But no way this game is, 27-24 or something like that. I think it comes right down to the wire.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Josh Lewin, voice of UCLA. Appreciate your time and looking forward to shaking your hand on Saturday.
Oh, yeah, no, same. We can't wait to get up there. Cheers. Thanks for having me. Josh
Lewin calls a good game, but you're going to want to listen to Jerry and Jordy. He was nice enough to join us here on Duck Insider. Some good things to say. Previewing a top 10 clash, a bout between the Ducks and the Bruins. We're looking forward to it. A lot of interviews left today. We got all sorts of sound for you. DJ Johnson, Chase Coda, the list goes on and on. Don't go anywhere. More coming after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, our all-inclusive event pricing allows us to take care of all of the details while you enjoy your event. Our wedding garden, expansive grounds, ballroom, and meeting rooms can accommodate any size event and come complete with full catering and service staff. From weddings to business and social events, Shadow Hills offers the benefits of a resort atmosphere and the peace of a country setting just minutes from downtown Eugene. For more details, call us today or go to shadowhillsevents.com.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
You're listening to Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
We all want our kids to grow up safe and healthy, so we show them how. With honest conversations that let them know what we expect. That's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. And when it comes to pain medications, opioids, they need to know that they should never be shared with friends or family. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. We all make choices about alcohol. Kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad. Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Hey, remind me about that party again?
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations, and they want honest answers in everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path, because when you talk, they hear you. Learn more at underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Thursday afternoon here at the University of Oregon. Welcome back into Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Hey, Duck fans, ski season will be here before you know it. Visit skihoodoo.com for the latest updates on the upcoming season, including preseason sales, deals, and events for the entire family. Hoodoo Ski Area is your locally owned and operated destination for winter fun and a proud supporter of Oregon athletics. A lot of sound to run through for the rest of the show, getting you ready for Saturday. Let's start with Chase Coda, who played several years for the Bruins and now has a date with his former team at his new home stadium. Chase Coda talking with the media.
And I've asked you about your playing time at UCLA.
Ooh, I mean, gosh, everyone all week, everyone kind of wants to know the scoop of what the personnel is like, offensively, defensively, whatever. But yeah, no, everyone's excited for me. I'm excited for it.
What's it going to be like playing against those guys that you were just with, last season, or at least most of them?
I think it's just going to be really fun. Like, it's like obviously it's still going to be a game. You never know it'll get chippy or not. It always is different. But I know just being out there with my buddies, I'll be talking to them for sure, like my defensive buddies for sure. So it'll be fun.
With this game having this high of expectations and game day coming, blah blah blah, just how have you guys maintained like a level-headed emotionness going into it?
I think honestly coming off a bye week kind of helps that. So it's not, you know, a super emotional week the week before, and everyone's kind of down to earth from that. And then I think, yeah, it's just like it's been talked about. It's like, yeah, game day is here, all this is here, but it's like it's still just the same game as every other Saturday. It's just this one's more exciting for other people, so it'll just bring even that much more juice.
How was that bye week for you? How did you guys, I don't know, how did you relax, I guess, and how did you come back into the play?
Yeah, it was nice because so Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we practiced really hard. So it was like camp practices, 1-versus-1 the whole time and everything. So it was good. But then after that, I got to decompress. We had Friday, Saturday off, a Sunday lift. So I got to go out to like Bend with a couple friends and my old buddies. So just got to relax 2 nights out there. It was perfect. Great little reset.
Was it difficult to come back into practice mode and like get back in on a Monday or whenever you guys first started for this past week?
So usually it would be off a bye week, but because Sunday night we had like a stretch and stride and lift, I think that definitely helped getting the sweat in the night before. So I think Monday was actually a really good practice for us. Monday. Like during camp, whenever we'd come off an off day, it seemed like we'd be a little tight and kind of have that, but this one felt good from the get.
Was this bye week from Dan and this coaching staff, was it different than things that you've had in the past at UCLA in terms of how they go about a bye week in practice?
Yeah, just at UCLA we go Monday, Wednesday, Friday practice, Tuesday, Thursday off. Here we did Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, so just all of them in a row. So I actually liked it a little more this way because then it gave you like 3 days off your legs in the beginning, 3 days in the end, which I've never had, so I like that.
UCLA is a big zone playing team. Just that that could potentially lead to more turnovers. Just what have you seen in practice this week from Bo Nix and how he's developed and been playing against the zone?
Yeah, no, I think he's looking really good. We're doing a lot of like good on good, so we don't do a ton of the looks. But I mean, with the scout team, I think scouts giving us a really good look and definitely disguising some of the stuff they would. And in certain situations, we know what they like to be in. And I think it's going to be a good little test. And we're used to breaking away in man, trying to sit in some zone holds this week should be good.
What have you seen from their secondary and just how they played this season? They have forced a bunch of turnovers, but they've been able to keep some wide receivers from getting free at points.
Yeah, no, those are my boys. Blaylock, I know he's been solid for a minute. And then Mo Osling, now he's playing safety. He's always kind of been in between. I know he's playing really good. And then the 2 corners, Kirkwood was really good as a true freshman, super long, physical, same with John Humphrey. So I know all those guys and they're all really good players, so I'm excited to go against them. But yeah, a lot of length in them, so I think that's a good strong suit for them.
There's probably about as much buzz around this game as there has been for you guys since the Georgia game. What kind of happened, or what did you guys learn from leading up to that game, after that game, that's really helped you kind of better prepare for this week?
Yeah, I mean, just like you want the biggest situation possible. It makes it the most fun and the easiest to work going into a game, So I think, from Georgia, obviously the game didn't go the way we wanted to. And it's like, wow, when we're under the lights, we don't want it to look like that again. So it's, got to be extra locked in. And coming off a bye week, I was just saying, I think that we've taken it really well and got back into stride right away. Didn't take us a day to get back into practice or anything. So I think we're feeling good.
You're probably a pretty popular player among coaches this week because they might be kind of picking your brain a little bit. Have they really sought you out, trying to figure out anything out about UCLA?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, all the players, coaches kind of just asking, for a little inside scoop. And I know there's, new defensive coordinator and everything. And with the offense, they're running different guys than we had in the past. So obviously watching their games, it's not all the same that I've seen in the past. But, helping them out and giving little tidbits when I can for sure.
I'm sure you've been asked this already. Does this hold a little bit extra meaning for you going up against your old team?
Yeah, I would say so for sure. Just I've never been on the field with so many people I'm close to, so that's a new thing for sure. So being out there with a ton of friends on both sides, it'll be really fun. But obviously, it's a big game coming from there. I want to, go out and perform the best I possibly can.
I'm sure you've seen the uniforms. Just curious to hear your thoughts on those this week.
I think they're sweet. I'm a fan of any new one we come out with, even if people are hating on it, which I really don't know what the consensus has been with these, but I really like it, so I'm excited.
I think it's pretty positive.
Yeah, no, I like the green letters and then the pink numbers, like the little switch up. I think it's cool.
It's Oregon wideout Chase Coda talking with the media. Let's also hear from TJ Johnson, a player who has tackles for loss in 3 straight and 4 of 5. I got to look at that again. I'll get that to you after this sound from DJ Johnson, outside linebacker for the Ducks.
A lot of you guys worked on specific things over the bye week, had specific things personally to get better at. What was that thing for you?
For me, my individual plan was to really work on some counter rushes. I feel like that's something I definitely developed in my game.
You feel like you got a lot better at that?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Did you watch football this weekend?
Of course.
What games did you watch?
I watched the Bama game. I watched. Really, because I got like info red zone and college. I just like it's like an info red zone for college, so it just flip through the plays. But I caught all the games for the most part, especially like the highlights.
What type of like watcher are you on a day off like that? Like what are you looking for? Are you just sitting back and relaxing?
Well, normally I watch like anime and stuff, but when I watch football, I honestly just look at the front seven. So I watch the pass rush, watch the front seven, and usually I can tell how the game will go by watching that.
Did you watch Utah USC at all?
Of course, yeah, for
Did
sure.
you learn anything from that?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Definitely some things you know when you watch, two teams that, especially ones on the schedule.
Right.
What have you seen from UCLA's tackles, 71 and 72 in particular?
Confidential. Yeah, confidential information.
Other than they'll be on the field, clearly, yes.
Yeah, for sure. But we got a good rush plan coming in for the run game, pass game, so yeah, it'll be fun.
What do you see from DTR that makes him kind of so effective as that dual threat guy?
Dorian's definitely good at, running with the ball in his hands, throwing the ball, so he'll definitely be somebody we got to tie down.
This game, go ahead. Haven't faced guys, you faced Cameron Ward with Washington State, you faced Delora with Arizona. Does that help at all before this, or is it so different schematically that it's almost not relevant?
Yeah, like whenever you play a running quarterback, it's very similar. They like to, some you got to account for, some you got to look out for, because that's definitely a dynamic to the game that you got to respect.
This game has about as much buzz as you guys have seen since the Georgia game. What do you think you learned during that whole process, and pre-game, post-game, that's made you better equipped to handle this game, this atmosphere?
Well, my freshman year I played at Miami, we had like 4 big-time games, so this is not nothing that's necessarily new to me, and really not even a team. That's not something we pay attention to. We're really just working on getting better each week.
Going off that, like in the hours and the days following the Georgia game, what do you remember from Lanning's kind of demeanor?
What do you mean?
Like, what was he like after that game? Like, when he came back in the locker room, and the days that focus?
You could definitely tell that it wasn't going to be something that was going to be forgotten, and we was going to use that as fuel to the fire going forward.
And do you feel like he's accomplished that by doing that?
For sure, yeah. For sure.
In addition to DTR being a serious threat with his legs, they also like to run a lot of read options, zone reads off the edge. So that's a lot of responsibility for the front seven, particularly you guys on the edge. So how are you guys approaching that this week in preparation?
It's something we've never seen before. You just play your technique and you'll be fine.
Got you. And a big stage this week with College Game Day coming to town. Is that something you guys talk about at all behind the scenes?
Not really. Like I said, it's another game. We get ready for it just like any other week.
Can you feel energy fired up though in the locker room?
Yeah, we get fired up every week. So it don't matter who the opponent is, man. Somebody coming in our house, we get juice.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we get juice.
Absolutely. Thank you, DJ.
I appreciate it.
What is it about UCLA's offensive line that has turned them into one of the better, Pac-12 teams in rushing the ball?
I think they're good at doing what they do, and anytime you could do what you do better than what other people do, you probably gonna have success.
You talked about improving your counters earlier. Is there any specifics in that, or is that also confidential?
Yeah, confidential information. Yeah, we'll show you. You're gonna see though. We'll show you.
What's in pass rush, Josh Lewin has been known as somebody who is excellent at teaching them. Just what has that relationship been like with you and Tosh, and those, I don't know, probably maybe one-on-one scenarios with him?
I feel like he definitely do a good job at, like, even though it's a group setting, you almost feel like that, that personal, intimate relationship when he's, coaching you. He's coaching you. Each person he coaches based on what their abilities are, and I feel like that is definitely like one of the most optimal ways to coach, and we respond to that very well.
DJ Johnson talking with the media ahead of a critical game. By the way, those tackles for loss numbers, 4 out of his last 5 games, and in his last 3. You get a tackle for loss against this team in UCLA. That makes a huge difference, right? DTR, that guy completes a higher percentage of passes than anybody else in the country. Every tackle for loss is a chance to stop a UCLA drive. That was DJ Johnson. Let's get a break. We'll come back with the center of the Ducks, Alex Forsyth, on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimates, CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimates, CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
This is Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Meet Ed, movie buff, animal lover, safe driver.
5 years of driving an ambulance teaches you a thing or two. If people knew what I know, lives could be saved. When I see a car trying to rush past a turning bus, I get concerned. You see, when big vehicles turn right, they have to swing wide to make the turn. And that's a lesson you don't want to learn the hard way. When trucks and buses turn, let's you and I wait.
It's our roads. It's our safety. Visit www.sharetheroadsafely.gov.
I've been driving trucks for a long time, and safety is my #1 priority. I know that my truck has huge blind spots. That's why I remember to check my mirrors often for smaller vehicles. Everyone can help keep our roads safe. Next time you're behind the wheel, try to avoid lingering in those blind spots. It can be dangerous. Let's all plan to share the road safely. Learn how at www.sharetheroadsafely.gov.
Welcome to the Slocum Center Minute. Slocum Center physicians are located here in Eugene and are the official orthopedic team physicians for your beloved Oregon Ducks. With me today, I have Dr. Brian Jewett, who specializes in joint replacement of the hip and knee at Slocum Center for Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Dr. Jewett, advancements in orthopedic surgery continue for both athletes and non-athletes. Can you share some recent advancements for hip and knee replacement?
Well, Jerry, that's a great question. When you look over the past decade in hip and knee replacement surgery, our implants have certainly come a long way. They're stronger, they're more durable, and they're tougher right out of the box. When you combine that with less traumatic surgery, like the direct anterior approach in hip surgery, with our better pain management techniques that we've developed over the last few years, our patients are moving sooner after surgery. They're recovering faster with less pain than ever before. So, with stronger implants, better surgery, and improved pain management techniques, it's been possible now for patients to go home sooner after surgery. They're walking sooner, and they're able to leave the hospital sooner. And this trend has really led to the development of outpatient total joint surgery centers across America.
I'm hearing about same-day joint replacement surgery, and really, that is mystifying. Dr. Jewett, talk about that.
Well, what's interesting is that most patients who need a hip and knee replacement surgery are actually not sick. They're actually healthy and active, but they have a limiting lifestyle problem with their joint. So a lot of our patients do not need a hospital, and that's why outpatient joint surgery centers have been growing in the last 3 to 4 years across our country. Here at Slocum, our Renew Joint Replacement Center was developed to provide our patients with a very personal surgical experience in a single specialty orthopedic center that is focused on the best possible outcomes for our hip and knee replacement patients. We have a team of specialized surgeons, specialized anesthesiologists, and nurses who are absolutely dedicated to providing the highest quality joint replacement patient care in a very personal environment. And using the techniques we just talked about, getting our patients up, moving sooner, they're able to go home the same day or the day after their hip or knee replacement surgery here at Renew at Slocum. And I encourage all your listeners, if they want to learn more about our Renew program here at Slocum, to log on to our website, slocumcenter.com, and explore our information available.
It's obviously a profession, but for you, and I can tell for a lot of doctors, it's more than just a job. It's something, call it a labor of love, helping people, huh?
Absolutely. We just strive to continue to improve what we do to bring to bear the greatest and latest technology for our patients.
Thank you for what you do.
You're welcome. Thank you.
This was the Slocum Center Minute, brought to you by Slocum Center for Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, the official orthopedic sports medicine team physicians for University of Oregon Athletics since 1967.
Our Slocum Center Minute, good to hear from Jerry and learn a little bit more about joint replacements. We're nearing kickoff here on Saturday. By the way, get out to Pat Bay Field tonight. A top 10 opponent Last time Stanford soccer came to PxP Field, well, Oregon fans went home happy. A chance to do that again tonight, 7 o'clock. If you can't get out to PxP Field, the Oregon live stream has you covered as well. Alex Forsyth, Oregon Center, spoke with the media earlier this week previewing the top 10 matchup. Got to run the ball against the Bruins. Alex Forsyth will be a big part of whether the Ducks do or do not do that, and he spoke to the media.
I've kind of been asking everybody like what type of viewer they are when they're not playing on a Saturday. What do you do you look for certain things or?
I just watched the O-lines pretty much, yeah. O-line, D-line, and then Bama Tennessee was a little bit more fun because there was a lot of big plays and stuff like that, and they were throwing the ball around. So that one was a really fun one to watch.
Do you take anything specific away ever, or is it just kind of general stuff?
Yeah, I like to watch whenever they upload the back copies of the game, so you can watch offensive line stuff. I'm really interested in it. If I like the stuff that they've done, there's a lot of good offensive lines playing on Saturday, but it was a fun day to. Yeah. If I can't be playing football, I'd like to be watching it. Yeah, so it was fun.
Is it hard watching something like Utah USC where you're going to see one, maybe both of those teams later in the year to watch it like that and not get ahead of yourself?
Yeah, I didn't think about it like that. I was just like, yeah, I'm just watching football. So it was fun to watch, both really good teams going at it, and like I said, the whole slate of games. TCU had a good game too, so it was fun to watch all those games.
What specifically about this UCLA front kind of stands out and has made them so effective from what you've seen?
Yeah, they've got a bunch of new players. We haven't played really any of these guys before, just from the front seven perspective. We played a couple of them last year, but a lot of these guys are new, and they play really well into their scheme, and they're also just really talented players. So they did a really good job of getting a bunch of talent, acquiring a bunch of talent, and UCLA's always got a lot of talent, so that's nothing new there. But they play really well into their scheme, their gap discipline, the unbelievable pass rush. They're probably going to be the best pass rushing team we've seen this whole year, so it'll be a good test for us.
The numbers are going around. You guys have allowed one sack this year as an offensive line. I think you've allowed Bo to be hit like 3 times or something like that is all. It's maybe an overly simple question, but how do you guys accomplish that?
I've said it, a few times. Just I think us meeting and getting extra meeting time, just with the players and just being like, hey guys, let's head up to the facility, let's go watch some blitzes. We did that last night. We'll do it again tonight, again tomorrow, and probably Friday too. Bo and I'll get together and just tie up some loose ends. But yeah, no, I just think guys buying into protection, and Coach Clem has done an excellent job at making sure our protection is right, teaching us. A lot of people ask me like how good he is as a recruiter and stuff, but I think he's a phenomenal coach too. So I think that's a really underestimated part about him. So he does a great job teaching us the protections. Finding adjustments each week. Hey, we're going to do this. Versus this front, and I think he's done a phenomenal job at just getting us ready for the games.
Was there a moment when you first started working with him that really stood out, where you're like, okay, this guy has this kind of reputation as a recruiter, but he's a hell of a coach too?
Yeah, well, actually, I got recruited by him when he was at UCLA. That's how long I've been in college football. So I was getting recruited by him, and so I knew him prior, and I knew he was a good coach just from talking to people. But just getting to work with him and stuff, and him breaking down film, and the experience that he has in the NFL and at the collegiate level is unmatched across college football. And just the it's one thing to be a player in college and a player in the NFL, but he also coached at both levels, and he's done it for a while. So he's got a lot of wisdom, a lot of experience. So he just knows more than some people, or he'll forget more football in one day than some people ever know. So I think that's he's just got so much wisdom to drop on us every single day. So I've just been really taking it in like a sponge.
Nick's not too unique as a defender, and a guy who obviously you have to pay attention to everywhere.
Yeah, he plays all across the line. He's shifty. He's got a really good knack for the football. You can tell he's just he's one of those kind of guys that's just like a natural pass rusher where it just looks smooth. He's got a lot of counter moves too, so he's going to be a really good guy that we're gonna have to watch out for. We got to play our best against him.
What do you remember from, I guess, Lanning's kind of demeanor post Georgia? I know it's been a while now, but in the hours and the days after that, he came out kind of almost jovial with the media, very honest and talking. Like, what do you remember?
It's just honesty is his program. It's just our biggest thing is going to the doctor. You got to take the medicine. No one likes to be told that they're not doing stuff right, but if you go at it with the right mentality that, hey, I'm going to grow from this, as players, I think you can kind of shift the way that you think and the way that the team thinks. Like, hey, you know what, we made mistakes. we got to grow from that. And I think that's part of growing as a football team. And I think everybody's kind of bought into what Coach Lanning's been telling us, and we got full trust in him, and just everybody trying to get better each and every day. And he has a saying. He said, "What's my favorite mistake of the day?" So your favorite mistake is basically something you want to use to grow for the next day. So I think everybody's been buying into that. Finding mistakes, and being encouraged by that we're not perfect, but we're going to strive to be. So I think that's been.
Did you have one today? Favorite mistake?
I'm trying to think. I got to go back and watch the film. But yeah, there's probably plenty. I think my second step is a little slow today in the run game, so I got to speed that up. That's
do you have a favorite mistake from the Georgia game that you're looking to maybe right this week? Then big stage.
Being able to pass off the games that they run. We did a decent job of passing off games, but I just want to continue to get better and elevate that.
Given that you're one of the veteran guys who've been here this long, Cam is one of those guys. What does he mean to you as a teammate? What does he mean to this team?
He's huge. I mean, not just as a player, but in the locker room too. To see a guy that's been through so much adversity in his career, and he's never once quit. He's never talked about quitting. He just always wanted to come back and just play football. And I was talking to him before this last year, and he was like, "Man, I don't care if they have me on scout team or whatever it is. I just want to play football. I just want to help out this team in any way I can." For him to be a big-time player for us this year is huge, and I love playing with that guy. And it's so powerful to have a guy like that on your team that not only the older guys can look up to, but the younger guys too, and be like, that's what it means to be a man of Oregon. So couldn't be more excited to have him on the team.
As teammates learned your personal story,
yeah,
over the course of 6 years, I'm sure you learned his.
Yeah.
What was that like to learn about?
Yeah, I think both of us, been through adversity in our life, and we learned a lot from each other. Without going into too much depth, I just think it's good to have guys like that on the team, and also like Coach Lane emphasizing to get real sessions. And we're not two guys that'll really share our story unless kind of prodded at. So that gave us the opportunity to kind of share our life stories and how we got here. And I think that's been huge for guys to see on the team, and just being able to make connections with guys on the team, it's been huge.
You played a lot of games in Autzen.
Yeah.
And this is another one.
Yeah.
If there's anything about this game that maybe makes it special or specific, what would that one thing maybe be?
We try not to buy into the hype of making this game bigger than it is. It's a football game. It's 120 yards long, 53 1/3 yards wide. So it's trying not to make it bigger than it needs to be. But it's a big game because it's the next game, and UCLA is a phenomenal opponent. They play hard for 4 quarters. Really good defensive scheme. It's going to be a huge challenge for us up front.
It seems like one of those things that's easier said than done, blocking out the outside noise. Is it as easy as guys deleting Twitter off their phone or anything like that? Do you have a strategy that works for you to just kind of stay focused on what you need to stay focused on?
Yeah, I delete Twitter and Instagram unless I need to post something for like NIL stuff, which I don't get that many, so it's never really on there. But it's just, I don't know. I try to get as many guys as I can. Like, hey, just try to stay away from Twitter, Instagram, whatever, and it'll clear up your head. And after a few days, you realize just what's really important in life and in our process here. So that's just my way. Other guys got different ways, but I think that's the way that works for me. So I don't try to push it too hard, but that's what works for me.
Blocking out the noise. Alex Forsyth getting you ready for Saturday's contest with UCLA. Let's get out of here. We'll come right back. Maliki Mataval after this break. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, our all-inclusive event pricing allows us to take care of all of the details while you enjoy your event. Our wedding garden, expansive grounds, ballroom, and meeting rooms can accommodate any size event and come complete with full catering and service staff. From weddings to business and social events, Shadow Hills offers the benefits of a resort atmosphere and the peace of a country setting just minutes from downtown Eugene. For more details, call us today or go to shadowhillsevents.com.
More Duck Insider coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
I
I found hope in the midst of an overwhelming situation.
Alcoholism is a disease that can affect any family. Everyone suffers, but there is help and hope at Al-Anon Family Groups.
Al-Anon gave me my life back. I'm a better father and husband.
Are you in an overwhelming situation because of someone else's drinking? Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Local and virtual meetings are available. Maybe one could work for you. Call 1-866-200-0033 or visit alanon.org/hope.
Medicaid and CHIP offer free or low-cost health coverage for children and teens. Hospital and doctor visits, prescriptions, shots, and more are covered. That's peace of mind for parents if a child is sick or gets injured. And parents may now be eligible for Medicaid too, even if they've applied in the past. Enrollment is always open. Visit insurekidsnow.gov or call 1-877-KIDS-NOW. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Time for today's 2-minute drill brought to you by Cafe Fans, remember tonight, get out to PxP Field, a 7 p.m. kick against number 7 Stanford. That's before Oregon Soccer welcomes in Cal, another top 25 team later in the weekend. Tomorrow, remember at Matthew Knight Arena, well, another big match for Oregon volleyball. Utah coming to town. That's a 6 p.m. match. Sunday will be at noon. 2 tournament teams. That's all Oregon volleyball does is play top 25 teams and, tournament teams. Utah, Colorado. 2-minute drill brought to you by Cafe M. Restaurants throughout Oregon and Washington where special diet requests and custom orders are always welcome. Menus and nutrition info at cafeyum.com. Let's get in a few minutes of Maliki Mataval, an Oregon tight end who spoke to the media.
How was the softball game last night? What was that experience like?
It was cool. It was my first one I've been to, but it was just cool that they're remembering Spence, so it's always good to keep them in our thoughts.
Did you watch football on Saturday?
I did. A lot of football. I watched the Tennessee game, watched the USC game. Just really turned on whatever was on, but those are my two favorite ones I watched this weekend.
Were you able to kind of watch it like a fan? Because I was talking to Bennett yesterday, and he's like, I was so analytical, I was looking for plays and stuff. How was that experience like for you?
I agree with him. I was just watching, how Tennessee ran the kind of that switch verse to number 11, and how he was just, eating the deep ball against Alabama. But it's just, you can see it as a fan, but I also saw it as analytics. I've seen what they're playing, how their tight ends are playing. Just kind of just picking bits and pieces and add it to my game, know what not to do and such.
I thought we had a little bit more time, honestly, but you can go check out the rest of that interview and every other interview on GoDucks.com. That's Maliki Mataval. Get out to PxP Field tonight. Tomorrow, our Sylvan Ridge Winery picks. We'll have Jerry and Georgie in the studio. Going to be a lot of fun, and I'm picking after the coin. I'm going to have to wear that one tomorrow. Thanks, everybody. Scott directing, Mitchell back in studio. Go Ducks, everybody.
The United States Deputy Sheriff's Association is a national nonprofit and the largest non-governmental provider of services to law enforcement. The USDSA assists city, county, state, and federal agencies with free safety equipment donations and officer survival training, along with cash donations to families of law enforcement officers who perish in the line of duty. College scholarships for the children of law enforcement. A citizen